portraits of artists, we did social problems. We covered quite regularly the troubles in Northern Ireland, which we made several films in Northern Ireland, because there it was important, we felt, in the rest of the media, the civil war in Ireland was always described as a religious fight, which, if you look at the history, it wasn't at all. That was basically, it became overlaid, but it was an economic struggle in Ireland. I mean, it goes back to 1649 when Cromwell invaded Ireland because Ireland was fighting for its independence, and he introduced English and Scottish settlers into Ireland, Protestants, who took on large areas of land in Ireland and had significant privileges, and they saw themselves as the authorities, and they saw the mainly Catholic Irish peasantry as a primitive people, and they were treated as a primitive people. So it was a class struggle, but it was as I say, overshadowed by the Protestant Catholic divide, because all the new landowners, they were all Protestants who'd been brought in by Cromwell. And that was still, when we went there, the Protestant workers in Northern Ireland had privileges which the Catholic workers didn't have. And they were, and I think the British have always played the divide and rule, and they've divided the workers in Northern Ireland the same way, although lots of people tried. I mean, the whole civil rights movement was led by Protestants, people who had no religion, and Catholics. It was a united struggle. So on that sense, it wasn't a religious struggle, but it was always painted as a religious struggle, which I think just confused people. I mean, even the Irish Rebellion itself in 1916, the Easter Uprising, it was led by people like James Connolly, who was a communist, several others who were Protestants. So it wasn't a Catholic thing. People saw it as an Irish liberation struggle. But the British used the Protestant ruling class in Ireland just to maintain their authority over the country. Well, as I said, the interesting thing is that the GDR never told us what we were supposed to do or what line to take. I mean, people like myself and my colleagues, we were Marxists, and we had our own understanding of history, and we also knew what the GDR stood for. We knew about GDR politics, so we were aware of that, obviously, and we were aware of what the GDR would maybe be looking for, but we were never told what to do. And Ireland, we went there to try and explain to people what was happening in the country, because it was a very difficult situation for people to understand, and particularly because in the West, they just, as most of the mainstream journalists in the West, basically go to countries or cover events which are sensational. There'll be a volcanic eruption, or there'll be a drought, there'll be mass hunger in a country, and they'll descend on this country and show you a situation. But that situation will be never put in a historical context, never be explained, the reasons behind it, and it will be forgotten in 2-3 weeks' time. There will be another story. And in Ireland, it was very much, there would be killings, atrocities would be reported, and very much, as I say, an emphasis on the religious divisions, but no one, or very rarely, attempted to explain the history of Ireland or why the struggles were taking place. I mean, it was rarely explained that there was a genuine civil rights struggle in Northern Ireland, that the mainly discriminated Catholic workers wanted to be treated equally with their Protestant brothers and sisters. And I mean, the trade union movement in Northern Ireland tried to be non-sectarian. They tried to unite Protestant and Catholic workers, and they often achieved that. But in many areas, for instance, in the big shipyards in Northern Ireland. As a Catholic, you couldn't get a job. You had to be a Protestant. The same in the police force. So there was rank discrimination. But that again was in order to keep British control over the country. So yes, and we, as I said, we tried to explain it in terms of its historical development and how this conflict had come about. It wouldn't be much point for GDR audience for us to just go over there and show people shooting each other, fighting in the streets, barricades, throwing petrol bombs. That all looks good on film. It's great, but it doesn't explain things to people.